Halloween festivities taking place tonight. The Quincy Police Department is asking everyone who is participating to be alert and safe. They say you should check your child's candy for anything that might be dangerous, of course. They also say drivers need to be extra aware and careful and watch out for those trick-or-treaters who might be crossing the streets.
I think there's some common sense things that folks want to pay attention to. If you're going to be out trick-or-treating with your kids, make sure they have reflective clothing, maybe carry a flashlight, do glow sticks, make them visible to anyone that might be out walking or driving around.
And officers recommend having your children wait to eat your candy until you get home so you have time to check it first.